What if I told you that the china pattern I chose at 18 years old would not only last me 58 years, but would also somehow predict my future life in France? This is a story about why you should let your heart guide your choices, not trends, and how one decision in 1967 taught me everything I needed to know about creating a home that truly speaks to your soul. Hello, lovely souls. Today, I want to share a deeply personal story that spans nearly 6 decades, from a young bride-to-be in 1967 to a 76-year-old woman living her dream in France. In a world where Instagram, Pinterest, and influencers tell us what's in and what's out, I'm here to tell you why the most important voice to listen to is the one coming from your own heart. And I have the china to prove it. Picture this. I'm 18 years old in 1967. Brides Magazine was our Pinterest, our Instagram, our everything. It was the ultimate authority on how to create your dream life. But here's the thing. Even back then, I learned that the experts don't always know what's best for your life. I walked into our local store that carried fine china, Royal Doulton, Wedgwood, Bernardo, Limoges, Lenox. The pressure was on. This was supposed to be the most important decision for setting up my new life. I spent 2 hours looking at every single pattern, going back and forth, trying to imagine which one would look right in the photos, which one my mother would approve of, which one the magazines were featuring. And then it happened. Arcadia by Royal Doulton literally, and I mean literally, seemed to leap off the shelf and into my heart. It wasn't the most popular pattern. It wasn't featured in Brides Magazine, but something about those delicate designs spoke to me in a way I couldn't explain. Now, 58 years later, at 76 years old, I still adore that pattern. Think about that for a moment. How many things do you choose at 18 that you still love at 76? Not many, I'd wager. But this pattern, it's been with me through every dinner party, every holiday, every quiet morning coffee. It's witnessed my entire adult life. But here's where the story gets magical. Fast forward several decades, and I found myself, as a French Colonial reenactor, needing to put together an authentic kit for living history. I needed dishware that a French Colonial of the period might have had access to. In my research, I discovered Luneville, a French pottery company that's been in business since 1728, and would you believe it? One of their oldest patterns, Old Strasbourg, now known as Réverbère, looks remarkably similar to my beloved Arcadia. It's almost as if my future life in France was calling to me when I was 18, but I didn't know it yet. That pattern that spoke to my heart, it was whispering of a life I couldn't even imagine at the time. A life where I'd be scouring French brocantes, flea markets, for authentic Luneville Réverbère pieces to make my humble French home a place that truly speaks of my heart. This isn't just about China, you see. It's about trusting your inner voice, that inexplicable pull towards something that just feels right, even when it doesn't match what the experts are saying. I recently read the current advice on Brides Magazine website. They talk about upgrading your registry to match your actual lifestyle, about choosing retailers that match your taste and your guests' budgets. They mention online registries where you can add honeymoon funds alongside Califon pans and Brooklinen sheets. And you know what? That advice isn't wrong. It's practical. It's sensible. But what it's missing is this. Sometimes your heart knows things your head doesn't understand yet. When I chose Arcadia, I wasn't thinking about my actual lifestyle. I was 18. I didn't know what my lifestyle would be. I wasn't considering guest budgets or whether it matched some aspirational version of myself. I simply felt a connection to something beautiful, and I honored that feeling. So here's my advice to young couples today. Whether you're creating a wedding registry or making any major life decision, yes, do your research. Look at all the options, read the reviews, consider the practical aspects, but then, and this is crucial, quiet all the outside voices. Step away from Instagram, close Pinterest, put down the magazines. Listen to what speaks to your heart. What makes you feel something? What gives you that inexplicable sense of, yes, this is it? Trust that feeling, even if you can't explain it, even if it's not the trendy choice, even if your friends don't understand. Because here's what I've learned in my 76 years. The things we choose from our hearts, the things that truly resonate with who we are at our core, those are the things that last. Those are the things that can even predict futures we can't yet imagine. My Arcadia pattern didn't just last 50 years. It led me to France. It connected me to a heritage I didn't know I'd embrace. Those Luneville Réverbère pieces I now find in French Brocantes, they're not just dishes. They're proof that when we listen to our hearts, we're often hearing echoes of our future selves. In a world full of trends, influencers, and endless advice, sometimes the best guidance comes from within. Your registry, your home, your life. Let them speak of your heart, not someone else's Pinterest board. Because who knows? That inexplicable pull you feel towards something today might just be your future self calling you home. Thank you for joining me on this journey through time and across continents. If this story resonated with you, I'd love to hear about the choices you've made from your heart. What spoke to you in a way you couldn't explain? Leave a comment below. And remember, in a world full of trends, the most timeless choice is always authenticity. A bientôt from France.